Welcome to the Inward Investing Podcast. I'm Mike Ritter.
I'm Todd Whalen.
And welcome to 2019. This is the first episode of the new year. Our mothers are proud.
Woo! We made it 2 years running with this podcast.
2 years running, 2018 and 19. So for those of you who have stuck along for the ride, thank you so much. And we have some new things coming down the pipe.
For those of you that haven't, you won't even hear it, so you don't matter.
Right? I didn't feel the need to address them, but I guess we should address the people that don't listen. For those of you listening in your car right now, please keep both hands at 10 and 2. We're going to deliver some rock solid information and message today. So hopefully we make your day coming up better and your week better.
Like what kind of rock?
Rock solid?
Yeah, like because we don't want limestone because it's kind of porous.
So, okay, a lot of people don't know that you actually have a background in
geology and earth science.
Yeah. So what's your favorite rock? I'm going to ask you all the equivalent of really, really dumb questions. I'm like the reporter after a football game. Like, so you missed a game-winning field goal. Like, how do you feel? I'm going to give you those kind of questions. Okay. So what's your favorite
intelligent
rock?
Enough. You mean type of rock like igneous, metamorphic, or sedimentary, or like more specific?
How about sedentary rock?
No, not sedentary. That's what we're talking to you about, people. Sedimentary, Michael.
Sedimentary. What's your favorite sedimentary rock?
I don't think I really have one. I don't think I have a favorite rock. I have a favorite mineral.
Like sodium?
Kind of. It's called galena. Well, that sodium would be an element. Sodium is a element on the periodic table of elements.
So I know a lot about galena rocks. Okay, so this question isn't for me. Minerals, right. Just out there for the listeners or somebody who may not know anything about galena minerals.
Okay.
Please explain to them what that is.
Obviously, you know what it is. So it's a silver metallic, right? It's very dense and heavy, and it forms in little like cubes, right? So it's like if you break it down to its most like elemental level, like how the elements form, it's all cubes. So then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger cubes and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. Like, have you ever seen fool's gold, like pyrite?
No.
Okay, so.
I mean, if I did, then I was fooled.
So fool's gold looks like gold, but it's like a sulfur-based thing, so it's not anywhere close to gold. And it kind of forms, if it's untouched or whatever, it'll form like in a cubic shape.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. Mike's gonna insert a picture of galena into the video of this podcast, but I'm gonna show him a picture of galena right now. And then we'll get an not unsolicited, but an unedited reaction to the mineral galena. Ready for this, folks? Clear picture-ish. Here, he can look.
Holy crap.
So, like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And it's super heavy. Super, super dense. It's lead-based.
Where would you find this? Where is this on Earth?
In the ground and in museums. Like, so...
How far down do you need to go to get something like this? I have
no idea. So if you think about, like, if there's rock that's heated up, right? So you have...
For those of you listening, it looks like a bunch of tiny rocks glued together to make, like, this... It's not an even... It doesn't look like one rock. It looks like a bunch of tiny rocks glued together.
Like a bunch of cubes.
To a big rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Or like
so
a
like,
broken Rubik's
So you've
cube.
seen salt, right, Mike? Like how it's cubic? Like,
yeah.
Like, have you ever seen, like, bigger chunks of salt, and if you smush it, it kind of breaks into these little squares. Like, it may not look like a piece of rock salt doesn't look like it, but if you squish it down, it'll start to break into squares just because how the elements are.
I've actually seen a horse-shaped salt that was given to me by a Bolivian friend. I guess they have a salt desert down there in South America, and so like they make a lot of salt souvenirs and everything. So I don't know if you've seen that before, Tom,
no,
but have you seen a horse-shaped salt?
No.
Piece.
All right. Speaking of rocks, don't be one.
We intend to teach you more about life than you anticipate. We like to over deliver on this show. So that's your rock tip of the day. You learn more about Earth. So here's a question for you. I'm just curious. What have you taken from your geology background and applied to fitness or health? Do you ever think about, the parallels between how the earth works and how bodies work? This is just my own pure curiosity.
Kind of, because it all really comes back to like physics and chemistry and biology.
Those big words that everyone's scared of.
Yes. But like every single exercise you do, I think pretty much every single exercise you do is going to be like against the force of gravity. Right? Like walking is against the force of gravity. Standing up. Like fighting gravity.
That's so I don't think people think a lot about gravity because it's always there, but your body in relationship to gravity has a lot to do with how it develops muscularly. And I was watching a course by Katie Bowman on infant development, motor development in infants. And one of her major points was if you want to help your infant grow quicker as far as motor development goes, or bone density, muscular strength, then changing their relationship with gravity helps the most, because if you imagine walking on the inside of your feet for 6 straight months, you're going to develop more bone density on the insides of your feet versus anywhere else, because your body senses that pressure and relationship with the floor and starts sending more, bone material there. And she said the same thing with babies, that the more often you can roll them around, put them in different angles.
Tummy time.
Yeah, tummy time, and just help them experience gravity in a bunch of different ways. And even though that's good advice for infants and babies, and I think we can use a lot of those techniques, which also, by the way, makes the bouncy chairs somewhat counterproductive. Like if your kid starts crawling around the house uncontrollably, those bouncy chairs are actually really helpful as far as, like a little cell to put them in for a little bit of time, but too much time in there robs them. Well, I guess it doesn't rob them from an opportunity of experiencing gravity. It just changes their experience with gravity in a way that's artificial, so their body starts to develop around that. If you start using the bouncy chair too much, their body starts developing in order to adapt to that type of relationship with gravity, which ultimately slows down the strengthening process and maybe strengthens them in
much like you producing more videos and podcasts.
Yeah.
You're sitting down more, creating a different relationship with gravity, and now your hips are tighter and other things aren't working as well.
Yeah, we talked about that before. Like, since I've been sitting a lot more and creating content, my body has noticeably changed over the last 3 weeks, just the last 3 weeks. And from tightness to, I've noticed my neck problems started coming back a little more prominently. And one thing that's actually helped that, I never understood why people were so obsessed with Apple Watches, but
you got one.
It's a brilliant company, and I just got an Apple Watch. And one thing they do is make sure that you use their product all the time. And one of the ways they do that is with the fitness trackers, which is pretty neat to see your total stand time, walk time, and exercise time.
Did it just tell you to stand up?
Yeah, but it also reminds you to stand up if you've been sitting too long.
Did it just tell you that?
Yeah.
Is that why you just all of a sudden thought of it?
Yeah, it reminds you to stand up, but then it also, if it detects your heart rate going up and increasing beyond its average, then it gives you a breath reminder, like sit down, breathe. Nice, that's cool. I think, of all the evils of technology, if you want to call it that, I don't think technology is completely evil, but that's one of the real big benefits, and that's why Apple, not that other companies don't do a good job, but one thing they're doing an excellent job with is the health stuff and the activity trackers. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And I just found out that some of the new Apple Watches, you can actually send a recording of your heartbeat to someone.
Wow.
So the watch will vibrate, and actually does, if you put your hand on it, feels like a heartbeat. And although on the surface that might sound a little creepy, but I found out because my aunt at Christmas was telling us that our cousin, who now lives in Seattle, and her mom were really, really close. She just moved out of Seattle like 6 months ago, sends her heartbeat to her once a week. And I almost cried. Like, I was misty-eyed.
So emotional.
How sweet is that? It's like emotional. A Hugh Grant movie.
So much estrogen flowing through your veins, Mike.
I know. It's all this sitting.
I keep trying to get you to work out harder and increase your testosterone. But no, we just want to keep increasing your estrogen.
By watching sweet movies.
Speaking of movies, you know how Mel Gibson came out with What Women Want a while ago? They're coming out with What Men Want now. And it's like the same thing. She hears what all these men are thinking and everything.
Unless Steve Harvey's writing it, I don't want to hear it.
Well, Steve Harvey wouldn't know. He'd call it something else.
Doesn't he has some kind of book like Think Like a Man or something like
Something
that for
like
women?
that, yeah.
I don't know why Steve Harvey came to my mind when it comes to...
Maybe it's his mustache, his power stash. His man stash.
We should have Steve Harvey on the show.
Steve Harvey, I know you listen to the podcast, so call in, email in, fax in, get in, mail in.
Subject line, I'm Steve Harvey.
Get yourself here to Tampa. Tampa Movement Lab, coming you from the new location.
So we have rebranded, yeah. For some of you that are local in Tampa, we have rebranded. The gym is now called Tampa Movement Lab. If you're not following us, you should follow on Instagram or Facebook. We got a lot of really good feedback from the new look of the gym, and then the reason we rebranded this place is because we have a nice synergy of different movement disciplines being coached, and it's it was called CrossFit Hyde Park, but CrossFit by itself is a strength and conditioning program, and it has its connotations. Like people have their opinions by now of whether CrossFit's for them or not. And I'm not here to convince anybody one way or another, but we do practice a lot of different movement disciplines in here, like mobility work, post-rehab movement therapies,
strength, conditioning,
strength
speed,
conditioning, Olympic lifting, gymnastics. So a whole lot of stuff under one roof. Plus, I'm running the nutrition department out of here with, functional blood analysis, hormone optimization. So a lot of really cool stuff that we're putting together, and I'm really digging the new name. So if you haven't followed us, follow us on Instagram or Facebook so you can keep up with us on a day-to-day basis. But today's podcast isn't necessarily about that. We want to talk about what everyone's talking about, and that is 2019 New Year's resolutions. Are they a good thing? Are New Year's resolutions a good thing or a bad thing? Todd, I'm going to kick it to you first.
My answer is, it depends.
Da-da-da-da-da.
And that's
It depends.
all the time we have for today. No.
That's the show.
So it depends, Mike, because if you don't do anything until it's like New Year's, and like, oh, it's New Year's resolution, I'm going to now do this, and you do it for like a month or whatever, however long, and it's short time, is it like, what was the point of it? To prove to yourself that you can do it, but you can't commit to something long term.
Yeah.
Also, in that aspect, though, if it gets you to do something, like the biggest thing is lose weight or get in shape. That's the biggest New Year's thing. So if that's what it takes for you to start and continue on, great. Or saving money or paying off bills, whatever. If it's something that you're going to stick to, commit to, change like your habits towards, then it's a great idea. But if it's just another thing that's like, oh, next Monday. Oh, well, now January's coming up in 2 months, so I'll just wait till New Year's to start. And then you still fail. Then, it's pointless. Why are you even doing it?
Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of New Year's resolutions. I think they're, in my eyes, always a good thing. How could it be bad to set a goal? Yeah, and the reason
I want to kill 8 people this year.
That might be a bad goal. Okay,
my New Year's resolution is to hurt many people.
You always find a way to make me create an exception for everything I say. So the idea behind resolutions is to start something new that is good for you. I don't think that's ever a bad idea. However, why should it just be isolated to New Year's? And you know what made me talk about this in the first place, or maybe think about us using this as a topic, was I just saw a whole bunch of hatred on Facebook for people creating New Year's resolutions. Like I saw everyone who has been in the gym for more than 3 years. Oh God, here comes the New Year's resolutions people. And yes, your gym's going to be more crowded. Your favorite dumbbells are going to be in use when you walk in. I know that's a pain in the butt to deal with. And believe me, I'm actually sympathetic towards that because you're probably going to be dealing with a lot of people that don't have good gym etiquette, don't wipe down their seats after they use it, or they're going and grabbing 10 dumbbells off the dumbbell rack and hoarding them in a corner while they go work out and do their own P90X in the corner. There's a lot of stuff that maybe you're going to be, I don't know, uncomfortable about. But I hope that people can at least, no matter what your resolution is, number one, understand the components of what makes a good goal. Okay, one of those components is a clean slate. Okay, having a clean slate attitude is actually a very good thing, and that's a big contributor to the success of a goal. It's a clean slate is a time in someone's life where they want to wipe out history as it is and start something brand new. Or usually, I guess a better nickname for this is like rock bottom, when people have to move to a new area of the country or town. Maybe they get a divorce or you break up, or there's some significant life event where you're forced to start anew. And people at that point, when they're forced to start anew, they'll change everything about their life at once. So if that's the case, if you decided to change something or you're relocated, it's a really good time to create new goals. Motivation's going to be high. You're going to be excited because of new environment. Now, one thing that wrecks goals, that absolutely wrecks goals, and a couple of things that can wreck your New Year's resolution. Number one is overestimating where you are in your life at that point, or your training on a subject. So if you have no prior history or education with weightlifting, allowing yourself to create a goal without consulting a professional, or at least having a decent idea what's realistic, can absolutely wreck your goal.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing I've run into in my years in the fitness industry is the realistic goals. Oh, January 1st, I'm going to lose 100 pounds this year. I haven't worked out in the past 18 years, but this year's going to be different. I'm going to lose 100 pounds, probably by like February.
Yeah. You don't want to ruin someone's mojo by telling them they can't do it, because I think a lot of people want to hear anything's possible, you can do it. And you don't want to be the Debbie Downer as a coach, but you know what? Nothing makes you feel worse in a journey of weight loss, for instance, than taking an L on the first week or second week. Meaning, if your goal is to lose 100 pounds in the first week, you don't even make it into the gym because your boss called you into work or something like that. You just took a loss on that first week and you feel defeated. If you set your goal as like, hey, I want to get 30 minutes of walking in, something you know for a fact you can actually do, then not only, maybe you didn't do much in the area of fat loss itself, but you just created habits. And I think we underestimate the power of the power of actually taking a step forward and creating habits and action. Action items work 100% of the time. Like if you just create something that you can do right here and now, even if you don't have a larger goal yet, maybe you don't know exactly what's realistic in your life. Like I want to bench 315, or I want to lose 100 pounds, or I want to save $10,000. Maybe you don't know what's realistic, but you know for a fact that you can save $5 this week, or you can eat a salad instead of a burger, or you know that you can go to the gym and walk for 30 minutes or walk around your block for 30 minutes at night. Those are things that you know you can do, you can achieve them, and while you're doing them, you're just creating a mindset of somebody who has that goal on their mind. And that in turn develops somebody who maybe becomes more motivated in different areas.
Yeah, and also instead of the 100-pound weight loss goal or the 315-pound bench press goal or whatever your goal is, I know this is a very generic word, but if you focus on your health, right? Don't worry about losing weight. Don't worry about getting stronger. Be healthier, right? I know it's a very vague word and like everything like that, but focus on like eating better and, like you said, going for a walk and getting on a better sleep schedule and just breathing better. Just all little things that just will focus on your health, and these other goals will probably happen because, like you said, you're creating these really good habits. Like I think we talked about shark habits on one of the more recent podcasts here.
Yep.
And it's like, go floss one tooth. Like anyone can floss one tooth. You're probably going to floss your whole mouth, right? But if you floss one tooth, it's better than no teeth. Do another tooth the next time, right? But you're creating little bits of little habits, right? So go for a walk every day. You know, try and get to bed at around the same time. Try and do like 10 minutes of breathing through your nose, you know, something, just little bits like that. Eating 5 servings of veggies. And if you ate 0 servings, try to get to 2 a day. And then for 2 weeks, and then 3 a day or something like that, right? Create these healthy habits. And then all these other goals are probably going to occur. If it's money, I just heard this one on the radio. If you put $5 away for a week for 52 weeks, right? Or if you put $1 away this week, $2 the second week, $3 the third week, all the way up until $52 the last week, which one will you have more money?
I'm going to guess based on your delivery, the second one.
Yes, right? Yeah. So the first one, like 5 times 5 is 25 with 0 to 50. So it's like $260 if you put $5 a week, right? I think somewhere around there. But the other way is like $2,000 or something like that, right? So I mean, if you want to save money, if you want something big, it's the second week of January right now. You should have $3 saved. Yeah. Right? That's not, everyone can do that.
And, you know, so I was just talking to a client about this. Multivitamins. We were going over multivitamins. So if you're wanting to, you know, if your goal is to improve your nutrition, you know, supplements are going to come up. And I often get the question, should I take a multivitamin? I'm not going to get into the effectiveness of each nutrient, or, you know, like there's a lot of videos out there or controversy whether multivitamins are effective. You know, one of the reasons why it's so hard to research the effectiveness of a multivitamin, meaning enough to make a claim, like multivitamins help lower blood pressure. Mm-hmm. Multivitamins help regulate blood sugar. Multivitamins
increase bone density.
Why it's so hard to actually definitively say that in research is that people who take multivitamins also tend to participate in other healthy behaviors. Like people who take multivitamins tend to smoke less, drink less, they're a little more active. So it's hard to pinpoint, say the multivitamin is what actually did it. But I think that also teaches us a very valuable lesson. It's like when you're setting a goal or you're deciding to take on a new lifestyle, maybe think about what's your multivitamin? What's the habit that's your multivitamin? What habit can you create that creates other healthy behaviors and make that a non-negotiable habit? So as an example, waking up and journaling might be one of those habits for somebody who maybe needs to have a better mindset early in the morning. And you journal about what you're going to eat that day, or just journal about anything. So say that's something that creates other healthy behaviors in that person because they've shaped their mindset early in the morning.
Or lists at night is a big one for a lot of people, right? Yeah. Make your list of 3 things that were great that happened to you today. So you focus on like getting that positive energy, and then make a list of all the stuff you have to do tomorrow. So you can go to bed knowing you have everything planned out for tomorrow and the 3 great things that happened to you that day. You know, you're going to bed with this positive mindset. All your thoughts are on a piece of paper, so you don't have to think about anything. Yeah. Right. So if you don't like to journal in the morning, because like me, I don't think journaling in the morning would ever work. I get up at 4. You know, getting up now at 3:15 or 3:45, whatever it is, you know, to journal. Like,
you'd have one word on the paper. Yeah. Like, today.
I fell asleep while journaling. Today, and then a line.
Well, I'll tell you what my multivitamin is. I didn't realize it until recently, but tracking my diet, like logging my diet. So one piece of advice that has really helped my clients is logging your diet the night before, rather than retroactively like trying to mess with the app and after every meal you're sitting there logging what you ate. It's time consuming, it breaks your concentration, it feels like a chore. So last night I logged my diet for today. So what that does for me, number one, it creates a level of expectation. It also allows me to troubleshoot any potential problems. So if you log your diet at the end of the day, which most people do, they retrospectively log what they ate. They'll go back to breakfast and you start adding stuff up, you know, unless you're following a meal plan that everything's already laid out for you. That's a little different. If you're logging your diet and trying to hit certain numbers, logging at the end of the day, there's kind of like a surprise effect to it to find out whether or not you actually hit. So at the end of the day, you can't do anything about the fact that you're 50 carbs short or over or whatever it is. Maybe you're over or under calories. Can't do anything about it then. If I do it the night before and I say, okay, I already know I have this much food in my fridge. I already know that tomorrow I'm eating so-and-so for lunch. And then tomorrow night, this is what we'll have. I already know the foods that are available to me. So then I can log them all in there and realize, oh no, I'm 50 carbs short or I'm 50 carbs over. And I can take away certain foods and create, again, a level of expectation to where all the decisions are already made, all the work's already done, and I know that I can hit that, and I already know that I have the food available to me.
That's really good. Because how many times have you heard people like, oh, I forgot to meal prep, so then I just went and got pizza.
Yeah.
I went and got like a Subway sub, So it's just, you prep the night before and realize okay, my lunch, I need to get something like the X, Y, or Z because I only have 2 of my 4 meals or something like that,
And let's just be honest, if you're on the road.
That's great.
If you're on the road and you know that you're going to end up going to
Wichita, Kansas.
Yeah, you're going somewhere, and then you find out that your only option there is going to be sandwiches. Okay, you go ahead and log that sandwich, figure out what's in there, and you can always push and pull from breakfast and snacks after that to at least make sure that your macros are close. I mean, in an ideal world, you're going to be able to control all of your food, but guess what? It's not an ideal world, so you can also work breakfast around your lunch and stuff like that. So that way you're at least doing some sort of damage control. And that's helped out people a ton. And I know that's my multivitamin because if I log my diet, at least my mind's on it. And if I miss, and I miss a meal or something isn't perfect, at least my window of error is much smaller than if I don't log it and I just willy-nilly the day, then who knows where I might end up. At least my margin of error is going to be pretty close to what it should be. And that's, in my mind, something that creates other healthy behaviors in me.
I hate logging my food. I think I've done it 2 days in total in my entire life, but I really have never thought about logging it before. Right? So I that's a lie. I think I logged once straight for 2 weeks, and I realized I eat 8 things. Right? So it's not very hard for me to log. I just find it every time I eat having to log a pain in the ass. So logging the night before, knowing because I'm going to eat the same things because I just do because I'm weird. But I really like that. I think that's something I can get behind.
Yeah. There you go. And so decisions are already made. And if you're a fan of simplicity, that's the way to go. In my eyes, if you're a person that hates logging your diet, that's how you do it. The night before, decisions are made. And even if it's something, so if your diet stays relatively similar, then maybe tracking your diet isn't that multivitamin for you. But for me, it's something that can easily get away with. I can easily, even as a coach who does this stuff all the time, which, by the way, I don't know if anyone out there knows that a lot of coaches have coaches. We're all human beings too, and we all have weak points. So for me, I'm a creative mind, so I can get really lost in my work. I'm always thinking big picture and imagining how things will go, whatever. I'm creating a lot of content, so my imagination is just some days on fire. So I can really lose track of time. So I have to log my diet or else it can easily slip away. Where somebody like you might be so routine, maybe just cool, calm, and collected all day. Some people, you can eat the same thing, you don't even think about it. Eating is,
I'd have to log for 3 days, and I'd probably have 6 to 7 months worth of days logged right there.
Right.
It's the same, copy paste.
But then there's another area in your life, or whoever's listening, there's an area of your life where you need that accountability. And sometimes that's the money. Sometimes that's the gym. Sometimes you need to write down your freaking weights.
I signed up for programming, 6 months of programming.
Yeah.
So I don't have to think about my workouts anymore.
Did you hear that, everyone? Our strength coaching specialist signed up for a program, and he's following it. That's what professionals do. They find structure, they find good structure, and they freaking follow the thing. So what's the hardest thing for you when it comes to following a strength program? So I'm relating this to somebody who's starting, the new year exercise-wise. I I know they're struggling, they're having problems, they have their own individual issues. What do you find the most common obstacle for you when following any strength program is for you personally?
Mine is because I read and follow too many people, and I'm like, oh, look at that. That guy did a one-finger handstand on one hand.
I'm going to train for one-finger handstands.
I'm going to train
right
for one-finger handstands. And after 2 days of that, I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. This guy did 18 pistol squats on just his big toe. I'm going to do that. And then after 2 days of that, I'm like, this guy just benched 900 pounds. I'm going to bench that much. And then after, like, because that's weights, so I'll give that like a week. And then after a week of that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I want to do something else. So like boredom, because I'm overly stimulated by stuff. So right now I'm like not shutting myself off because I am I have a thirst for education in this field, right? So I want to continue bettering myself, but I made a monetary commitment to this 6-month program. I know this isn't
which is big. Monetary commitments are big.
It's big. It's a athletically inclined based-ish program, right? So there's lifts, there's also running, there's some competition in it, right? So that's cool. It's not just powerlifting or just CrossFit, or it's a little of everything, right? So it's more so down my alley of my actual like life and body goals, right? Like I want to be more athletic. And I know a lot of people out there don't want to hear this, but boring works. Basics and boring works, right? Like squatting works. You don't need to do a whole bunch of fancy stuff like goblet squats, front squats, back squats, whatever your favorite squat is, do it. You know, push-ups or some kind of push, bench press, shoulder press. It works. Like basic stuff works. Running, it works. You know, like you don't need to be doing the one arm, one leg, purple people eater, you know, one-eyed, one-horn, flying purple people eater workouts. Or the, I saw a good one yesterday, laying flat on a bench in front of a Smith machine, both on your belly, both feet on the bar, raising your feet, arching your back as much as you can, just so you can squeeze your butt, so you can do a butt workout. Right, so imagine that. So she's flat on the bench.
So somebody was doing this on Instagram?
Yeah, flat on the bench, both feet like spread wide. So like the bottoms of her feet were on the bottom of the bar, and then she was pushing the bar up and like just arching the low back super hard. She had a nice butt in the video, not going to lie, because her pants were like halfway up her butt. She actually had pants on, not shorts on.
That's surprising.
Like, yeah. But like, that's doing more, like, I'm sure she did a lot more squats and lunges to build her butt than that exercise.
Yeah, they give this nice little 30-second video to make you think that's the one magical exercise.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, okay, yeah, there's physique goals everyone wants. There's physique changes everyone wants, right?
Which I want to interject. There's nothing wrong with having physique goals. People might shame you for just, there's all kinds of opinions that fly over the internet, and there's... We're big functional trainers. We believe in skill. We believe in developing the brain, the body, and everything together. But there is nothing wrong with having a physique goal. If you want to look
like if
better.
You want a huge chest and arms, crush it. Do it, right?
Yeah.
Like get that chest, get those arms, do everything and anything possible.
Yeah,
legally to get those chest and arms, right? That's not going to screw you up internally. But like, yeah, have your physique goals. Like I know I want to look. My physique is not where I want it, right? So I'm really trying to make a solid change in my life, and I think tracking my food at night will really help me out. So I'll be like, oh, I didn't plan for that. I can't have that today. So that's not going to fit in. Versus like, sure, I'll have this, you know. So I think that's really going to help me out. And then this structured workout, structured eating, you know, that will help my physique goals. Although it's not the biggest goal, but like, we all want to look good naked.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I think as long as you have, in my opinion, these 3 components to a goal, you're going to be in good shape. Number 1 is focusing on habits over outcome. You know, whatever gets measured gets managed. So being able to, let me start that over because those were 2 different I just put together. I think no matter what your goal is, as long as you have these three components in there, you're going to be successful. And one of those is focusing on habits over outcome. We all want outcome. You need to be able to have some sort of vision of where you want to go, but just act like the person. Just act out habits that are productive towards your goal. Like that, just doing it, the act of doing it. And when I say habits, that could mean like forgetting about like getting too technical with diet. Make a better choice at lunch. Like if your goal is to lean out or you want to lose weight, get a salad instead of a burrito. And instead of, your friends or your fit friend or your trainer might be telling you, oh, well, that's not enough protein, it's too many carbs or this and that. You can iron that stuff out as you go. Like if you're just starting out, own it. I'm just starting out. Do things that are easy to you that you can win.
Get back to the basics.
Yeah. And just focus on those things, because what ends up happening is after you do that a number of times, the choices become easier. And they're naturally going to produce a positive result. And as you get the positive results from those efforts, you're more motivated to do them later. And then maybe as the brain fog clears, blood sugar starts leveling out, then you have the firepower to maybe educate yourself a little bit more on other topics. You start looking for blogs, and then it snowballs. Okay, number 2 is measure your success. You have to produce a measurable outcome. So on one hand, there's the psychology of it, which is habits. But then there's also the physiological aspect of things, which is the actual result, which I was alluding to earlier. Actionable steps and taking baby steps are all well and good, but they have to be effective ones. And if they're not effective, maybe over the course of 2 weeks when you're measuring your body composition, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, if it's not producing a positive result, don't get discouraged. Just know that those action steps weren't enough or they weren't the right ones, and let's deepen our knowledge base from there. Maybe redirect the baby steps. Baby steps themselves are not a bad idea. Just you're learning which ones are the most effective. Okay, and then number 3, we've said this a number of times. I cannot emphasize this enough. Get around positive people. If you're around negative influences and people that are always trying to pull you in their direction instead of yours, if they're not encouraging to the things that you want, you will literally lose valuable time and progress and an opportunity to change yourself just because you're around people who are not supportive.
Yeah, if they ask you, well, why aren't you drinking this? Why aren't you just getting the fries? Just get the fries, Mike. It's not going to matter.
Yeah.
Just give you this. Oh, come on. Just once. It's gonna be fine.
I love this one. Live a little.
Live a little.
Bro, if cheese fries is you living a little, you need new hobbies. Like that should not make or break your day.
Yeah. And note to self, you've lived already. You're still living.
Yeah.
You'll still live after this meal.
Like my idea of living is flying to another country and visiting, or spending time with family, or
spending time with me.
Spending time doing a podcast with your bestie. Like, to me, that's living. Your interaction with cheap commoditized food, even though it's flavorful, I'm not saying it's not delicious. I'm saying that is not what makes your life great.
And don't put off that food for a week and then be like, oh, I ate good this week. Let me eat it now.
Yeah, don't reward yourself with the crap that got you in trouble in the first place.
Exactly. Reward yourself with something better, right? Maybe it's a longer process to get that reward, but maybe you save up $10 every week that you don't have a cheat meal. And then once you get to $100, you can buy yourself something.
Yeah. How about rewarding yourself with more things that push you further towards your goal? Like that's an actual reward.
Yeah. How about, save money and then buy a personal training session. And then keep going, reward yourself with another personal training session. Save up money and reward yourself with a blood analysis with yourself or a hormone analysis so you can get even better results quicker.
That's brilliant. So the money saving tactic that you just brought up earlier, how about if your goal is to quit drinking coffee or alcohol, instead of just letting that money lie dormant, spend that money into a savings account so you can purchase more things, more resources, more quality resources to help you push yourself further towards your goal. So if you find out that your spending $120 a month in coffee, which is not that unreasonable for a lot of people, if you saved that and purchased 2 personal training sessions a month, do you know how much deeper your knowledge base is going to be on this stuff and how much faster you're going to get your results? Like, you're already spending it. Just put it into a different account. And money isn't something that you should just hoard to yourself. Like, use it as, power. Use it as wattage towards whatever you want to do. I think that's something that we don't do well as a country. And I think I'm talking from a perspective of a coach who talks to a lot of different people throughout my career. And I know that our spending habits are generally just pushed towards entertainment and necessities. Like, we don't think of goals and progress near as much. It's either like pure entertainment or, business and necessities. Putting your money towards growth is also incredibly important. Maybe there's some money from that entertainment bucket that you can pull. And I know we use entertainment as an outlet a lot of times for stress relief or to get a break from our life. But guess what? Goals and achievement are really exciting too. That's also kind of a form of entertainment, but also if you're achieving goals, you're happier, your life is moving forward, things are happening really good in your life when you're achieving goals. And that you could think of that as a form of your own entertainment and excitement, and you're investing money in it.
Yeah, so I just did the math. It's just shy of $1,400 if you put $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 a week, stuff like that. Yeah. And it's $260 the other way.
I like that because it's not as big of a blow in the beginning, and it kind of like you're building a habit as it increases, so you become more excited about spending more money.
And even like $52 in 1 week, it's not really that much.
Yeah,
that's 5 Starbucks coffees, 10 Starbucks coffees, or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And some people go to Starbucks more than once a day and spend more than $5 on their drink. I know. I worked there for 8 years.
Yeah, you saw it with your own eyes.
I saw it with my own eyes. $6, $7 drinks 2 to 3 times a day.
That's bonkers. That's bonkers.
9 to 10 shots of espresso in a day.
Wow. Really?
So like if you get an iced venti drink that some people got, that's 3 shots of espresso. And sometimes people get that 3 or 4 times a day.
Good God.
So we're talking like 9 to 12 shots of espresso a day.
Good God.
That's all from like morning, like 5 to like, say, 6 o'clock, like before work, during work, like lunch break, after work type thing. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I thought I drank a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
So there's an app called Caffeine. If you want to download it, anyone out there, I think this is a really good educational app for people. As you can enter your caffeinated drinks, and it gives you a timeline of how long it takes for the caffeine to half-life to get out of your bloodstream or to get low enough to where you're sleep ready. And that's cool. If you download that and you log your caffeinated drinks, it shows you when you actually become sleep ready. And chances are, if you're having any kind of caffeine after noon, you might realize that your body. I think you need to be under 100 milligrams of caffeine in your bloodstream to be considered sleep ready and have quality sleep. But if you're having it after 12 o'clock, it could be 1 a.m. before your body's actually sleep ready and prepared for quality sleep. So for people to monitor that, I think that's really good. But I know we're running out of time. I want to go ahead and get your top 3 resources for someone who has a New Year's resolution.
Mike Ritter.
Mike Ritter? That's
Todd
a good one. I agree. That's 2. Give me one more.
Tom Brady. No, so I don't know. With these, what we talked about, I don't know if I have 3 resources to go to. I think it's really within yourself. It has to be intrinsic, right? So that's something I struggle with a lot of times. I can be very externally motivated to do things, but intrinsic motivation is where I lack a lot of times. So I think you really have to find that like deep desire, that want, that need, like really look into yourself to really find it. And it doesn't come easy with me because of daily distractions and stuff. I'll start to like, all right, why do I want? And then like, oh, I forgot about it because I'm carrying on a 20-minute conversation or something with a client or something like that. And then I'm not thinking about it. So maybe it's journaling. It's creating a lot of little habits to get to that deep motivation for me. Right. I know that's not the answer you were looking for, but I don't know if I have 3 good things to go to besides looking within yourself. So maybe that's sleeping more. eating better, and like journaling, like you said, either journaling your food, just journaling anything, really. Creating a habit of journaling food, journaling thoughts, journaling lists, something like that. That's something I really want to do in the new year, especially with the impending child.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry for that answer, but that's my thought. Like, create those little habits that are intrinsically motivated, and will get you to that deep goal. But also, don't try to change everything all at once.
Yeah, small changes.
Small little change one thing. Start by a 10-minute walk a day. And then instead of joining a gym and throwing money away right away, start with a 10-minute walk every day. If you can do that, then go up to a 20-minute walk every day. Yeah,
it doesn't matter if the gym's $150 a month or $10 a month. That it's money literally wasted if you're not able to use it. I will say this. I was going to wait to talk about this, but I'm really excited about it. So I guess I'll go ahead and talk about it now. I just created and I'm releasing my first e-course.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. And, I guess
fireworks.
There's a group of people out there that I feel particularly connected to, and that's dads. And particularly dads who are trying to do the best for themselves. And I know there's a lot of us out there that, you're dealing with a lot of stress, usually different kinds of stress than you've ever been used to in your entire life. And a lot of guys have the hero mentality where we try to take care of everyone else. And that's a good thing. That's very noble. Just like our favorite superheroes when we were kids. You might be a firefighter, a policeman, a dad, an executive, but a lot of guys, especially fathers, have so many responsibilities towards other people that it's very easy to lose sight of themselves just because of the stress. And sometimes we do it subconsciously, sometimes we do it consciously. But I just created a course. It's a 5-module course that goes over this whole diet, exercise, stress management, sleep, and getting the family involved. Course called F1, Fathers First. And I'm starting registration January 15th for a course that starts February 1st. It's interactive. You get complete contact with me throughout the entire course. And we go module by module on all of this stuff. And I have a kettlebell program that they'll follow, meal planning. We teach all of it. So I'm really excited to release that. And I'll create a registration link in the article for this, but if you're a father out there and you're really looking for a solid program to follow and again go step by step through all of this weight training, the meal planning, psychology of all of it, the stress management. I have 5 modules that are just going to go through all of it with you, and you're going to go over it with me, and I'm going to coach you through this damn thing, and we're going to get this done. This is a population I feel is very underserved. And it's about damn time we put this thing together. So
putting yourself first.
Yeah.
A little bit for a little while.
For a while, and at least to
create good changes and habits.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, because if you're the hero, if you're the one that's taking care of everybody, and mothers go through this too, like women go through that, and probably even more so. To be honest with you, we go on that tangent as well, but fathers in particular I feel connected to, so I wanted to create the course for them first. Maybe we'll branch this into women later, but this is a very underserved population, and I want to talk in their language. Like, I know time management. I know the stressors that other people don't understand. It's hard for women to understand the role of the father and the father to understand the role of the mother. We're both working together here on this thing, but this course is geared towards fathers. And get yourself in a position where you feel a little lighter, a little younger, you got a little more pep in your step, so you are actually more effective at your role of taking care of others. So registration opens January 15th. I couldn't be more excited about that.
So if you're not a dad, go out there and get busy, become a dad.
Yeah, right.
Oh, wait, wrong message. Message.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah, so definitely if you guys are out there listening to this, I know I'm going to be a dad any day now, so this is something I'm excited about. Really gonna try and follow along as best I can with it, and with Mike, and help him out as he needs with it. So definitely get yourself signed up. It's definitely going to be worthwhile. I've had a sneak peek of some of the stuff that he's done, so it's going to be awesome. Tell friends, tell family members, get it as a gift for someone. Do what you guys got to do to get that person or if it's yourself, you know, it's a little bit of time in the grand scheme of things, right? So it's only
not a lot.
It's not a lot of time to put yourself first for a little while. Instead of you're still gonna be the man of the house, you know. You're still gonna be the hero that everyone needs and everyone deserves. You're the hero that everyone needs and deserves.
You don't have to talk in the Batman voice. Though.
No,
you can.
You can. Mike will appreciate it. But definitely look into it and reach out if you have any more questions.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, man. And I guess this is a good time to wrap it up. We'll be back next week with some more great material. We got some awesome interviews coming down the pipe, so stay tuned with that. This has been the Inward Investing Podcast with Mike Ritter
and Todd Well.
And we'll see you next time.